you doing? This is Zayu. My name is Tonya, and I am doing this video as part of my memoirs. My ultimate goal, one of my ultimate goals, is to write a book, but at this current time, I am not disciplined enough to do the writing that it entails to start and complete this process. And so I decided that until that time comes, what I would do is create different videos discussing different topics that affects us in life. Um, Yesterday I attended an event, very interesting event, and the discussion was about relationship and marriages, and certain issues that take place in marriages, and what helps sustain a marriage, and what causes the disruption within that marriage, separation or distance between the couple. And at one point of the discussion, after the married couple shared their stories, then there was a second panel of single people who also began to share their lives in their perspective of being single. And so I learned a lot during this particular session because many of the panelists identified themselves as being single. And then the question was posed, well, are you having sex with someone else? And several of the panelists said yes. However, I'm single, and I was sort of thrown back by that. Eventually, I understood what their perspective was, but I was type of thrown back by that because in my perception, when I identified as being single, um, abstinence went along with the title of being single. And that's only for me. There's no judgment towards the responses that the panel provided. It's just that I was taken off guard because for some reason I thought that that was, how most people seem being single, and abstinence as well was part of that, being single. But I learned that that is not the case, that being single does not equate to not being sexually active. And one comment was made that, part of being single, with the interpretation that I'm single but having sex when I feel like it, with whom I feel like it, is part of the identification with self-love. And usually when I hear other people share their perspective on certain topics, I begin to reflect on myself. Now, I've been married for 22 years. However, I too would didn't have a committed relationship, but I did share intimate relationship with people who, in my heart, I knew had no what am I saying? Had no intentions of committing any further in this relationship, because commitment doesn't have to be part of a relationship for it to be identified as a relationship. Sexual, interaction is a relationship. It may not be a committed relationship, but it's a relationship nonetheless. You're sharing some level of intimacy for whatever reason. In my perspective, someone else may disagree. And so when I began to think about myself and how I was able to do that, is when I understood what it meant to be single but sexually involved with someone. And I began to recall the reason why I was so receptive to having emotionless sex without a commitment to the person um, that I was having sex with. And one reason for me was that, one, I did not feel or I understood that this individual had no intentions of giving uh, any more of a commitment than committing to that act, the act of sex. And so, but two, part of understanding that and still making the decision to have sex had a lot to do with how I felt about myself. And feeling that this would be all that I could possibly get out of another human being, another male. Honestly, I did want a relationship. Did I believe that I could have one at that time? No. And I believe that my decision to share myself in that level was based on the fact that I truly didn't believe that I would have a healthy relationship. However, healthy relationship is, you know, defined, will differ from woman to woman, man to man. That differs. So once I came to the realization that, look, no, I am worthy, and I understood that I needed to love myself first before anyone else can see the love and light within me. There were some changes that I would need to do from the inside out. And secondly, I understood that I began to realize that um, part of my despondency, came from the fact, let me go back. We as women are receivers. So that means, what I'm saying by that is, when you have sex with an individual, you are at the receiving end at all aspects. When the man penetrates inside of you, when he ejaculates inside of you, you are at the receiving end. You're receiving what he is giving. And I'm thinking about this, and I came to the realization, like, wow, you know what I mean? My womb is the gateway to my soul. And if I am looking to repair what is damaged within me, then I need to ensure that the gateway to my soul is not infiltrated by negative energy. Period. Period. That was all part of growing and loving and identifying with that unique me, with that me that no one else cared to see, that I failed to realize was present, that me that I could be comfortable with, love regardless to what anyone else thought or felt about me. That was part, that it's part of the process. So when you say to me, when I hear women minimize the effect that sex can have on your spirit, it makes me sad. It makes me sad because sex is, in my opinion, sex is a level of intimacy that is so profound. If the two individuals involved in this act understand what this intimacy means, it's the union of two energies evolving, becoming closer, identifying with each other from the inside. So to allow someone to enter the gateway of what I identify, the gateway of my soul, and just whether you're wearing protection or not, they're still inside of you. Don't get it, twisted or think that, I want a condom. He is still inside of you. He is still depositing an energy that will remain inside of you long after he's gone. And if you decide to have sex with another person, then the same thing applies. Then you have your last partner's energy as well as this new person's energy inside of you. These energies can affect how we move in life, the decisions that we make in life, how we feel about ourselves in life. And I wish we would look into that more. I really, really wish that we would look into that more because, that plays a major, major part in our lives as women and men. As women and men. But, yeah. Yeah, so that was the conversation. And I just want to say to my sisters out there, you're right. You're an adult. You have every right to do what you want to do and how you want to do it and who you want to do it to. No judgments. However, just understand that every action causes a reaction, and we should be really aware of what makes us function as the energy that we are, what makes us function and move through life in the manner in which we are moving. If we're moving in suffering, understanding where that suffering is deriving from. If we are moving in happiness, understanding what is creating that happiness. If we are moving in light, understanding why and what is contributing to us moving in light. If you have that understanding, life can be cake. It can be cake. So that's my thought on the issue of sex and relationships and being single and how do you identify being single. Yeah. Peace.